Well, hello, everyone. My name is Kristen Raney. I am the president of Northeast Wisconsin Technical College. I began my time here at the college officially at the end of June and have been here now for about 5 weeks. Kristen Raney is a wife, a mother, an educator, now a president, but always a teacher at heart in very many ways. You know, I am someone who, I love people. I love spending time with my family. My husband and I have 3 sons. They are all in their 20s now. And so they're moved out of the house, which I'm glad for them. But the mom in me, still misses having boys around. And I still miss, cooking and making dinners for everybody. So for me, outside of work, my husband Joel and I are often traveling to visit our family, or we're trying to arrange to have them here. I love to cook. I love to bake. My grandfather was a Danish baker, and so that is something that I love to do, and it brings me joy to do that. Love to go on walks and hikes and spend time outside. Love to read, and so those are all things that I like to do. But mostly it will connect the things I spend my time doing outside of work, usually connect to my family and spending time with them. I would like to tell you that I'm not as competitive as I once was. And in some ways that's true. If I lose at a game of Scrabble with my husband, I'm mostly okay with it. He would tell you I'm not, that I'm really competitive. We play cribbage and we play Scrabble a lot. And, he likes to say, when anybody else plays a game with me, let the Wookiee win, because he says I get really mad, but I don't. I don't like when I play him in a game of some kind and I can't ever win, then I get frustrated. But I can be pretty competitive.
Is Kristen competitive? Yes, she's definitely competitive. I'm Joel Raney. I have been married to Kristen Raney for almost 30 years. So we met in college. I like to tell her story because no one knows her better than I do. But she is an amazing mother. We raised 3 boys in Eau Claire, and she stayed home with the boys for 8 years, and I was a high school teacher. So we were pretty, we bought our first house, was just a dump. It was right by the high school. We couldn't afford a second car. I like to tell her story. She was a mom, was happy to be home with the boys. And then after about 8 years of that, she got a job as a halftime instructional assistant at NWTC. And she was terrified. And I remember I was home for lunch and she was getting ready to go in for her first day. And she teared up and her chin started quivering, and I kind of pushed her out the door. And what's amazing to me when I tell this story, this was only 20 years ago. It was, and within months they asked her to be an adjunct instructor. I think she took on like 5 classes. She fell in love with the institution almost immediately and the students. She started teaching. I was thinking maybe within 5 years she'll get a teaching job, but she got a full-time teaching job halfway through her graduate program. So she really took to teaching and hit the ground running. And then, I could go on for hours about her career and what she's accomplished, but it's just been amazing for me to watch. And 20 years later, here she is at NWTC. So it's amazing.
So here's the deal. I am happy to sit and talk with you about who I am and what I'm like, or what I value and what I do. But honestly, I think your best bet is to hear from people who have worked with me over my career, and to see if they would can share some of their experiences and thoughts about who I am, so you can see for yourself maybe what I look like in my work day to day.
One of the defining characteristics of Kristen's leadership is her collaborative style. As she built an incredible team, she fostered a culture of teamwork and inclusivity. She is certainly not a micromanager, but a supportive leader. She sets clear expectations, provides resources and support needed, and then she leaves her team to do their job. This allowed us to be creative and come up with innovative solutions to the challenges we face. The environment she created made it possible for us to thrive and allowed us to bring unique perspectives to the table.
We navigated some challenging times together, and in those times, I was so thankful to have Kristen's calm, thoughtful, and strategic leadership. Kristen's great at problem solving, and she's passionate about meeting the needs of today's students. She's also really funny, she's thoughtful, and she's supportive of her team.
Kristen was the best boss, mentor, and friend that I have ever had. She will speak your name into spaces when she sees potential that you may not even see.
She's an empathetic and authentic leader. She's driven to make an impact in the communities that we serve. Kristen also knows how to have fun. She's generous with her talents, and something that's really important in my book, she's also a Packer fan.
Kristen is one of my favorite people. We worked together at Eastern Iowa Community Colleges as members of the senior leadership team. In fact, I co-chaired the search committee that brought her to Eastern Iowa, and it became clear pretty quickly that I had led a national search not just for a great colleague, but also for someone who was to become a very good friend of mine. Kristen, I miss you already, my friend. In fact, Kristen's departure was so traumatic for me that I had to retire. So I am sitting on my front porch and wishing you all the best, hoping that all goes well for you. And Kristen, I can't wait to watch you shine up there.